Real quick, who do you think was wrongfully canceled?
All right, this is a controversial. All right, that's one almost one beer, ladies and gentlemen, burped out of me. I think Louis C.K. was wrongfully canceled. I think he got busted for some BS. From what I've heard, that people were kind of in his circle or at least knew him. It seemed like he was not as guilty as everybody made him out to be, right? You know, I feel like I'm sure there was probably some instances where there was a fine line, but I feel like there was a lot of consent involved. I feel like there was a lot of asking, you know what I mean? From what I had heard, but I wasn't there. You know, none of us were there, so how can we really say? Only the people who were there can talk about it. And there were some people that were part of it, and they were like, yeah, he asked me to jerk off in front of him, and I said, sure, you know, like, go. Or he asked if he could jerk off in front of me, and I said, sure, you know, and they didn't give a shit. And also, I think it was before he was really popular. And
No,
really
he was
famous
doing it
too.
up until recently.
Oh, he was? Okay. Well, there you go. But either way, I feel like the rug really got swept underneath him, you know? And I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm sure there's an element of creepiness. I'm sure there's an element of weird control and you know, uncomfortability with some people. But I'm he's one of those guys. I'm such a fan of his art. Like, he would have to do worse in order for me to be like, all right, you're canceled for me. You know what I mean?
See, I just feel so bad for those women. They had to see his little red pubes.
I know. Yeah. He talks about how unattractive he is all the time. And I could imagine what he looks. I think he actually did like a nude scene in one of his shows, like Lucky Louie. I'm pretty sure he did.
I think it was just his ass, which is enough. It's enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not an attractive man. But you know, got to get it where you can. I guess that's one one place where his talent kind of was able to make up for his looks in order to trick some people into getting locked into a room to jerk off with him. I don't know. Who fucking knows? But I will say this. My Lord and Savior Joe Rogan, the Oprah for men, has gone on to defend Louis quite a bit as of late, and has his side of the story, what he's picked up on it, has seemed to be pretty solid and pretty consistent. And it seems like he really got kind of fucked. Like he didn't seem like a Bill Cosby to me. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem like a predator to me.
I think Louis' big crime is he didn't read the room properly.
Yeah. Oh, stand-up joke, everybody. It's a stand-up joke.
I'm being serious. I mean, yes, it's a stand-up joke, but
Yeah.
he really didn't read the room properly. It's like, hey, can I masturbate in front of you? Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you going to say to that? That's one of those things.
Especially when this person is potentially signing your checks. Because one of the people he masturbated in front of, he was executive producing her show.
Yeah, that's a little hardcore. See, I that's another thing that is a big problem with me. Guys, I will admit it. Looking into the camera right now, ignorance is a big part of my life. There's a lot of stuff I do not know about, and I will just go off being like, oh, well, this is what I've heard, so this is kind of like my, you know, side of the story, or what I've been able to gather from the story. And not always is it 100% correct or is 100% true. I'm always willing to hear more sides of stories and listen to and take those into account, right? You know, I think, and that's part of what makes at least a somewhat tolerable human being is somebody who's willing to listen to the other side and maybe change their mind, right?